Welcome to Guns Gear Network, everyone. I want to bring you the topic of survival tins tonight in this little review and discussion. We've seen survival tins all over YouTube, the internet. Everybody's got their own version. Some people make them, some people buy them. There's pre-made kits. There's military kits that a lot of these kits are based off of, so forth and so on. So I want to discuss that a little bit tonight and my thoughts. This is kind of my thoughts about survival tins and what my requirement of a survival tin is and why it's a requirement. These are requirements that I want to see in a survival tin. So what is a survival tin? A survival tin is usually a small tin, if you will, that is a kit that is kind of a last-ditch survival aid. So in other words, we don't have our bug out bag. We don't have a lot of things that are in large packs. It's kind of something that you can keep on your person, that this is the only thing you have left to survive. So they're usually small in nature, so you can carry them in a pocket, so forth. We've all seen the Altoids tin survival kits, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. They're just not, they don't fit my requirement of what I want to see for myself in a survival tin. You're going to have to make a decision on your own what your requirements are, and I think once you see my video tonight, you'll understand why my requirement is the way it is. Doesn't mean it's the right way. I think it fits me and my requirements. It may not fit everyone. So again, this is something, just sharing knowledge. You guys will have to make that decision on what works best for you. And what I found is the smaller Altoids type tins just was not enough for me. And I'll go into that a little more in detail as we go. So what you see here in front, right in this section, is is part of my EDC carry. So it's something that's on me all the time. If I'm leaving the house, this stuff is usually on me. Doesn't matter if I'm running to the store or I'm going to work or anything, these items are always on me, along with some other items, but these are some basics. And there's some redundancies here within the tin, some other things I might carry that are not really redundancies. Obviously keys, cell phone, chapstick, those type thing, nail clippers. There's not a lot of redundancy, but some of this is redundancies within the tin that I already have on me. So I have my G-Shock watch with a Sunto clipper compass on it, which is, I've talked about these before. I have a survival bracelet on, usually of some sort. This one here, I just did a review on. This is one of my newer ones that I've been carrying recently. Has a built-in fire steel, a built-in whistle, obviously made of 550 cord. Here's my EDC money clip that also doubles as a pocket knife. Here's a folder that I usually always have some type of folder on me. This right here is the one I've been carrying lately. This is a Kershaw. This right here is a Streamlight micro, one of their Streamlight micros that I always carry with me in my pocket. So those are things that I carry. So let's talk about tins a little bit. You have a few different sizes. Obviously, I have an Altoids size. This is similar to the Altoids size. This is a little bit bigger than an Altoids tin. Want to show you that for reference. If you look, I've got a few things already in here, and just a few things thrown in there. Some duct tape, some pocket folding knives. But let me show you. This one right here measures. It is roughly 5 1/4 inch long. It is 3 1/8 inch wide and about 1 inch tall. So there's that one. This is similar to an Altoids, just a little bit bigger than an Altoids actually. And then you have this one here. This one is 5 1/4 inch long, 3 5/8 inch wide, 1 1/4 inch tall. So there's that one. And this one opens up like that, has these little roller type closures. Then this right here is the size that I carry. And I had two requirements for my tin. A, it needed to fit what I needed within the tin that I felt I needed and wanted, and then it had to fit in a cargo pocket. I normally very rarely wear jeans. I very rarely wear, if I'm wearing dress pants, I usually have a change of clothes in my EDC in my truck that consist of a pair of cargo pants. And this is a pair of cargo pants that I carry usually are aware, and I'll show you real quick, that this tin fits in that pocket closed, just like that. So it actually fits in a cargo pocket. Okay, so it fits in a cargo pocket. Requirement number one, covered that. I also like it to fit in some type of pouch. This right here is one of the Condor pouches, and it actually fits perfect in this. And I won't go through all the zipping and all that, but trust me, it fits in this pouch. So normally what I would do is keep it in a pouch like this. I can attach this to my belt. I can make adjustments with this Molly system here to tighten up, to make it smaller, to fit in my belt, so it doesn't flop around. So I could carry it in this in my car or something like that. You don't carry a survival tin in your bug out bag, because that's the purpose of a survival tin. If you get separated from your bug out bag, or you're not carrying your bug out bag, you know, maybe you're just traveling at work, going back and forth to work, I would keep this survival tin with me all the time, besides my smaller get home bag. So I'd have something like this, and I'll have some redundancies in my get home bag in this also. But this is one of the first things I'm going to grab even before my get home bag, because remember, we talk about this is the last ditch effort that you're going to make to survive. Okay, so let's look at what I have in mind, and I'll explain. Normally with this, I'll have Ranger bands. I usually have 3, closing it all up. Okay, so what all's in this thing? So I have a Frontier survival straw that's an emergency filter. Okay, it's good for about 30 gallons. This is not the straw that came on it. It came with a little shorter, stiff straw, and I had one of these. This right here came off of one of those cups like you get at the fair or a festival. And I switched out the straws for something like this, a little more flexible, a little longer, and it fits in my tin. Okay, so I have a way to purify water. Cordage. I have about 35 feet or so of tarred bank line. This has a tensile strength of roughly 140-50 pounds, so it can definitely hold a lot of weight. You can make shelter with this. You can do a lot of things with this, make repairs, whatever. And it's bank line, and I really like that, even more so than some of the military style not paracord, because paracord is going to be real thick and you can't carry as much length. But some of the smaller diameter paracords, I prefer a bank line. It's easier to tie and a lot of different things, but bank line. All right, so I also have a set of Ranger beads in here. I want to know if I'm stuck out somewhere, I need to travel, I need to know how far I'm traveling, so forth. Neck knife. Now this, I don't wear neck knives. However, I think neck knives, certain ones, have a good fit within a small tin. And the reason is because they're usually a full tang construction, and this one is, and it's a thicker metal, so it's not going to break. I can potentially do a little batoning with this to split up some smaller wood, kindling, that sort of stuff. And this one had handles on it, grips, and I took them off. And the reason I did that is to make it a slimmer profile, and also it has holes now that I can lash this to a stick to make a spear, either for self-defense or using it to secure game. Also kept it with this little Kydex holster that it came with. I did change out the neck loop. This had one of the little beaded type chains that you would typically see like dog tags, like military dog tags. This one is part of, this is actually a bank line. So it's double, it actually can use it as cordage, and it also holds the knife, and then of course this Kydex case keeps it protected. I can keep it away around my neck. All right, then I have this syringe, and to my knowledge, I've never seen a kit with a syringe in it, and the reason is this one right here is not, it's a fairly larger size. This one's normally what you use for your kids when you give them medicine. So you would pour medicine into a little cup, suck it up to a certain tablespoon amount. This one goes up to just past 2 tablespoons. Why do I have this in there? Because if I'm securing water and the only thing I can find is small little puddles of water, then I need a way to get that up. And this right here is time consuming and tedious, but I can suck water up and stick it in a container. I can suck it up, stick it in a container. So even no matter how small it is, I can suck it up and get it into some type of container. Or I can suck it up and drink it straight into my mouth Depends on the circumstances. I normally wouldn't do that unless I know the water source, but this is a way to get it out. Okay, so I have one of those. I have this just thrown in here, this little carabiner. Again, a lot of things can fit in this container. I have this here. This is one of the re-glow sticks, and I did a review on this, and we'll talk about that here in a minute as far as some of this stuff in the kit. This right here is a little bitty first aid kit. That's all it is. I have some basic band-aids, some ibuprofen. I have some anti-diarrheal medicine in here. I have some antibiotic ointment. I've got a little hand wipe. I've got a tooth picker type thing. I've got a little bitty sewing kit. If you notice, there's not thread in this sewing kit, and I'll tell you why. I have room to put it, and I may add some later, but I'll tell you why here in a second. I've got some of these little breath mint things, and the reason is because if you're not, they also, because these are Listerine, they have a little bit of antibacterial type effect, so it keeps down germs in your mouth, and they're thin. They don't, and there's 30 of them in there that can last you, if you did it once a day or a couple times a day, along with just trying to keep your mouth clean through bushcraft methods of making a little brush out of some some type of stick to keep your stuff brushed. I also have a little pack here that keeps down moisture, but it's just a little basic boo-boo kit, but it's got an anti-burn cream in it, just something small. Okay, then I have a wire saw. This is one of the better quality wire saws that's in this kit. I have a fishing kit that's actually got a lot of hooks. It's got probably 5 or 6 different size hooks, even some bigger hooks. It's got a bobber. It's got 3 or 4 or 5 different lures. It's got lead weights. It's also, if you look, this is the reason I was going to tell you I don't have a lot of thread. I have quite a bit of 12-pound test line on this. There's a lot, so I can use this to sew, because if you look in this kit, I have 3 different size needles, and they're pretty good size needles, along with some safety pins and some extra buttons and stuff within this little bitty sewing kit. And I try keeping things separated in these little bags. So anytime you get something sent to you and it has a little bag like this, keep it, because you can use it. If you look, it's just got some basic safety pins, some needles, that sort of stuff, and I keep that separate, but I also just throw it in this other little bag here. Okay, so you got this, has a lot of again, cordage, if you will, but fishing line. I have some fire starters. These are your simple Vaseline cotton ball fire starters. These work excellent, and I keep them in this little pack. I think there's either 5 or 6 in here in this. Snare wire. This right here, you can actually find this at most Walmarts or dollar type stores. This right here is floral wire. It's used in the floral industry to help with making flower arrangements, but it works really well. It's green in color, which happens to be nice as far as having a little camouflage effect to it. It's about the right weight. A lot of people, I think, use way too thin a wire on some of their snare wire because it depends on the size animal. It'll break it pretty quick. This right here would be pretty tough for them to break, but if you notice, I have a lot of it. That's the good thing about a tin. Instead of having just a little bitty, 4 or 5 feet of it, I probably have 20 feet here. That's a lot. I mean, it's maybe not 20, maybe 12 feet. Didn't measure it, but I know it's quite a bit. So we have some snare wire. I have a bandana. Multiple uses for bandana. You can use them for filtering out water as far as your large particles. You can use it for first aid, tourniquets. You can do a lot of things with a bandana. Self-explanatory. Survival mirror, signal mirror. This one right here is one of the Star Flash signal mirrors by ultimatesurvival.com. It has a viewing window, so a targeting window here, so you can target at the target you're trying to signal to. So again, there's that. If you're not familiar with these bags, I suggest you research these. These are the Whirl Pack stand-up bags. There's 3 of them here. I'm not going to undo them. Quite a few reviews about these. These hold, I think, 1 liter of water. Okay, there's 3 of them here. These right here are medical grade. They're already sealed, so there's nothing that's going to contaminate these. You have to unseal them and open them, and then they'll actually stand up on their own, and they're kind of tube shaped, and you can actually solar sanitize water or clean water through solar methods with this type bag because it's clear. I much prefer these over a condom. Again, when you get into smaller Altoid tins, you're stuck with sticking some kind of non-lubricated condom in there. Nothing wrong with that. I just, again, the reason I like these bigger tins, they fit the requirement of fitting in a little pack like this and or fitting in a cargo pocket. I'm able to carry not only one but 3 of these better bags, in my opinion. These will actually stand up. There's a video somewhere floating around that I saw maybe a year or so ago of a guy that's like 200 pounds. He filled one of these with water and stood on it, and it did deform, but it did not break. So you got those bags. A full Mylar rescue blanket. This is the standard Mylar rescue blanket. Nothing fancy about it, but it's one of the larger ones. This one's 52 inches by 84 inches, so it's one of the larger ones, and it can obviously be used to help make shelter. It can be used to keep you warm or keep you out of the elements. I have a couple pieces of folded tin foil, obviously multiple uses for those. I have some Ride in the Rain paper. There's probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 sheets there, and I just stick it all, again, I bag everything to try keeping it organized, and I don't have to dump everything out to maybe get to something. And then also a little trick I've learned, don't zip these bags all the way up, just kind of zip them partially so they'll collapse down and you'll be able to get more in your tin. I also have 10 aqua tabs for purifying water. Redundancies. Remember, we got to survive with water. Again, 3 days without water and you're going to start having problems. And you've got to be able to purify your water somehow. And if I'm running into this right here, does 30 gallons. So you have to prioritize your resources. I'm going to probably use this first because it does 30 gallons. Then I may go to this. The last ditch resort, if I've went through this and I've went through my filter straw, I'm going to then use these as far as solar, trying to do it that way. Okay, so you have 10 aqua tabs. I have a hacksaw that I've cut off. Multiple uses. Obviously, I can use this to help with making traps because you can do notching and stuff like that. I can also use this as an escape tool if somebody has handcuffed me that I don't want to be handcuffed by. Obviously, non-law enforcement type situation where somebody's taking you hostage. Something like this can be used to cut. Or you're trying to get through a gate, or you're trying to get through a lock. It may take you a little while, but I can actually saw through it. If you look, I've got duct tape, quite a bit of it. That's a full-size piece of duct tape that I've rolled and made a little handle, so it's dual purpose. It actually has duct tape, and it actually gives me a handle to now be able to comfortably grab this and saw. So that's kind of a nice little tool right there that I've made out of that. Then I have a fire steel. Then obviously we can take, and this has got the coating on that I hadn't removed. This right here is one of the Charade fire steels. This is probably one of my favorite fire steels. This thing throws out some super good sparks. So I've got almost what I consider a full size, not one of those little mini ones, but again, I'm wearing the survival bracelet that has one built in, but I have one of those. I have a lighter as a backup. Again, I'm not going to use up my lighter. Maybe I'm going to, depends on the situation. I could use the fire steel, I could use this, so forth. I have an extra buckle, and if you watch my video on the bracelet, and the reason I have this in the tin is it has a fire steel built in, and it also has the signaling whistle that's loud. I have this little multi-tool. Now this kit is big enough, I could probably put a little nicer multi-tool. This right here is one I had, I've had some time now. This right here is one of the Swiss Tech multi-tools. It's got pliers, it's got wire cutters, it's got a bottle opener, it's got flathead and Phillips head screwdrivers in it. Fits in this little tin nice. If you want to go to something, one of the micro style kit, I mean one of the micro style lost words, one of the smaller pliers or the multi-tools, you could do that. A different style would probably fit in this tin. You also have a carpenter's pencil that's easily to sharpen with a knife. I can write notes, that sort of stuff. Also, because it fits and it's easy and it's easier to write with, I have just a insert. This is a new one. This is for a cross pen. This is just the insert for a cross pen that I can actually write with. Then I have a button compass. This is one of the better quality button compasses that you can get. And again, redundancies, because I already have one compass that I wear on my watch. Then I have one of these nano lights by Streamlight. I like this style best because it is not a push button, it is a twist. So I can actually, and it's small enough, I could actually stick this in my mouth. It's really bright enough, I could see walking down a trail. So it's bright enough. But if you remember my video, I talked about being able to take this reglow stick and charge it with something like this little LED light here. And now I don't have to use up my batteries, and this is glowing enough for me to read things, or you know, if I recharge it long enough, it's bright enough for me to see, even maybe to do a small chore or something. But that's why I keep that in here. So also keep just a little razor blade. Again, some redundancies here, but because this doesn't weigh anything and it's flat, fits in here. It's got a little cardboard sleeve on it to protect it, and it fits in there. So in my opinion, this covers most all the bases that I would need within a kit. And you know, I choose to make my own. There's some kits out there. The Henry survival kit is probably, and it comes in the exact same tin, the exact same size. It's probably one of the closest I've found that I actually think is worth the money. A lot of them are out there, they just did not stack up to what I wanted to see in a tin. So anyway, guys, I just want to kind of touch base with you on these tins and a little bit of my thoughts and what I have in mind. Make it your own. Figure out what you need. Figure out what you feel comfortable with carrying. And this one, to me, is what fits me and what I feel comfortable with. And that's why I wanted to bring this video to you, to just give you some thoughts, you know, give you some ideas of maybe you hadn't thought of or something, or maybe rethink your tin. Maybe you're carrying the survival tin that's an Altoid size, and you say, what he says makes sense. And then again, you may say, hey, I don't want to carry that much stuff. That's too big. I don't normally wear cargo pants. I need to keep it small, and I've kind of, you know, redid mine a little different, and you keep it in the smaller tins. I understand that. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, post those below. If you have any discussion about survival tins, some thoughts on, you know, what you think about them, or what you maybe have some suggestions, share those thoughts with us below. We always appreciate those comments. If you would like, share, and subscribe to our channel, share videos, and give us that thumbs up if you like our videos. That's always helpful. Again, I will post below some of the things where I got them and what I paid for them. It's not all that expensive. Just rough estimate. I have a lot of this stuff on hand anyway. You're probably, to put a kit together like this, in all reality, you're pushing close to, you know, depends on, you know, some of this you could, you know, this right here is pretty cheap when I got it. I actually think it came in another kit or something I got, or maybe a little gift pack or something. But some of these things I already had, and I was able to put together a kit. But you're pushing close to $100 maybe when you get all done. You might can get out a little cheaper than that. This knife, believe it or not, is not much. It's like $8 or $9 including shipping. So some of these things, this right here, a couple bucks to buy a big roll, and you can make multiple pieces of that size, and I have plenty left over on the roll I bought that's $2 or $3, and so forth. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be bringing another video shortly. Have a great day, guys.